What's up, curious youngsters? If we are always wasting time doing useless things or watching millions of videos, ending up with such weird YouTube recommendations, why not better spend a few minutes teaching curiosity, learning? 30 totally epic facts that you're going to forget in about 10 minutes, but these are not just any facts. These are going to leave you totally shocked. For this and much more, these are 30 things you didn't know 5 minutes ago. One in Toy Story, one of the toys with which post right here, he's having tea at Sid's. She introduces herself as Marie Antoinette, and her characteristic is that she's missing her head. But what's so curious about that, Mr. Curiosity? Well, it's because Marie Antoinette was the Queen of France, who in 1793 was beheaded for treason. Let's see if you knew that, friend two. Who hasn't ever seen the photos from the night before and found themselves with the classic red eyes? For some, a phase of the cell phone. For others, a symptom of a deadly disease. But no, none of that. Red eyes in flash photos appear that way because the light enters through the pupil and reflects the color of the blood vessels. 3. You've likely seen photos of Machu Picchu, or perhaps even had the good fortune to visit it yourself. But the curious thing is that after many, many years, the purpose of this place remains a mystery. Based on the remains, it was not a city, and perhaps it was only used as a center for religious ceremonies. I believe they used it to connect with aliens. 4. Awe. Every so often we have some problems and we can feel strange things in our head. But what is not very normal is to believe that we are simply dead. Yes, this exists and is known as Cotard's syndrome, a rare mental illness in which the affected person simply believes they are dead. 5. If you are terrified of insects, especially cockroaches, you better cover your eyes. Because at nearly 8 inches long, the Megaloblatta longipennis is considered the largest cockroach on the planet. And it is mainly found in the regions of Ecuador, Peru, and Panama. So if you live far from this region, don't worry. Timmy, yes. And if you like history and issues related to war, you might already know this. But a historical fact is that Hitler's corpse could never be found. And a study that scientists in Moscow did in 2018 on Hitler's supposed teeth confirmed that he had died after taking cyanide and shooting himself in the head in 1945 with the fall of the German Empire 7. If you were thinking about buying a car, maybe you should think twice, since a study done by analyst Mary Maker in 2018 came to the conclusion that taking into account parking, insurance, maintenance, fuel, and among other things, in 4 out of every 5 cities in the United States, it's cheaper to use Uber than to own a car. 8. Even if you don't like basketball much, should you recognize the NBA logo? And the curiosity is that the silhouette that appears in the famous logo does not belong to Michael Jordan, as many might think, but it refers to Jerry West, who stood out in the 60s and 70s in Los Angeles. Lakers. 9. If you're arachnophobic and scream, "But what a horror," whenever you see a spider, then you better save some money and get a ticket to Antarctica, as it seems to be the only place in the world where spiders have never been recorded, and you could be at ease. 10. In super curious facts about the impressive nature, we encounter a super strange behavior that dragonflies can have, as it seems, when female dragonflies do not want to mate. Of course, they can simply say no. They fake their own death and lie down for a while. Well thought out, Mrs. Dragonfly 11. Seals are very tender animals, although they can also be terribly wild. But the curious thing is that blonde seals are a very rare type of seal that only occurs 1 in every million. 12. When you have to write a text for school and you can't think of anything better, think that the genius Ernest Vincent Wright wrote a novel called Gatsby, which contained more than 50,000 words, and none of them contained the letter E. That's intelligence and a lot of free time. Vincent 13. If you thought the Statue of Liberty was the largest statue in the world, I want to tell you that you were wrong. Because apparently in India, in the province of Gujarat, we find the Statue of Unity, which is a monument dedicated to the Indian politician Sardar Patel. This one stands at exactly 200 yards tall. It's absolutely insane. Despite knowing it's unhealthy, most people enjoy eating a tasty burger and fries. That's for sure, the fries should always have ketchup. But what face would you make if I tell you that the well-known ketchup sauce was sold as medicine in 1830? Yes, indeed, it was sold as a remedy for absolutely anything: pains, wounds, diseases, and anything you can think of. 15. Turkey is a very interesting country that I would like to visit, and even more now that we know that the city of Istanbul is the only one whose territory spans 2 continents, Europe and Asia. The city is separated by the Bosphorus, a strait that divides the city into 2 parts, connecting the Sea of Marmara with the Black Sea. In incredible but true news 16, we must know the story of James Richard Veron, a poor man who gained fame in 2011, after stealing only $1 from a bank and waiting for the police to catch him, just to be able to receive free medical care in prison. 17. I don't know if you have any pets, but I'm sure you love the puppies of any animal. Yeah, because even the offspring of a hedgehog are terribly cute when they're babies. A matter that, according to a study from Hiroshima University in Japan, the brain seems to stimulate and show better results if we are looking at offspring or puppies of animals. What a fetish, such a strange human body. 18. In news that seems like lies, until we search and find them online in 2006, a woman reportedly used the bathroom mid-flight on an airplane. To hide the strong odor she left behind, she decided to light some matches in an attempt to mask it. Oh sure, what a great idea, Johnny Matches on an airplane. As was obvious, everything ended in an emergency landing. 19. Charles Darwin was a British naturalist who became very well known after proposing the theory of evolution of species. The thing is, this is not a natural science class, so let's get to the curiosities. And the curiosity is that our scientist, during all his studies, literally ate every animal he discovered. Yes, among the facts it has impacted. Shall we proceed? Apparently, he wanted to taste each of the species he discovered. 20. One of the most amazing, but at the same time most dangerous things about our incredible planet is the force of nature, which can make us disappear in a second with any natural disaster. And in 2011, the Japan earthquake was so powerful that, according to specialists, this movement caused the Earth's rotation speed to accelerate slightly. McDonald's is loved by many as their delicious standardized burgers can satisfy hunger worldwide. But one of the many curiosities of this legendary fast food super chain is that the first food they sold was actually not burgers, but hot dogs. 22. When Christopher Columbus supposedly discovered America in 1492. In reality, over 90 million people, a third of the global population, already lived on the continent. In super strange curiosities, we find the Chinese soft-shelled turtle, which became recognized for having the unthinkable ability to urinate through its mouth. Disgusting, apparently. It is the only animal known to have this ability. 24 for a lifetime? We were told that water was a good conductor of electricity, but in reality there is a big mistake, since the good conductor are the minerals and impurities that the water has. But either way, don't mix water with electricity. We don't want you to become electro. 25 if you like jewelry and minerals. Perhaps you knew that before we come across a perfectly polished and cut emerald in nature, we are going to find formations like these. And a very curious fact is that its name, possibly Persian, means green stone. 26, incredible but dark news. It's that in 2013, a woman who had survived an Asiana Airlines plane crash at San Francisco Airport died when she was run over by a fire truck that had gone to help in the rescue of the passengers. 27. Among more than 7 billion people, we are all different. And one of the things that will mark our face is the color of the eyes. And did you know that, for example, the rarest eye color in the world is green? Since only 2% of the world's population has eyes of this color, what color are your eyes? 28. In Great Britain, a couple who were about to get married had no better idea than to invite Queen Elizabeth II to their ceremony. Obviously, it was something to laugh about. because it was impossible that without knowing them, the authority would go to the wedding. The queen unexpectedly appeared among the guests, shocking everyone in disbelief. 29, just brought from China, we find the golden snub-nosed monkey, one of the rarest primates in the world, who not only has that epic golden and blue fur, but also has a pretty strange nose. Yes, we can still call that a nose. Despite being hunted for years for its fur, it still exists and provides us with epic photos like these. Despite many people building bunkers for a zombie apocalypse, it's impossible. But wait, sir. Curiosity, then why does the White House have a plan against a possible zombie apocalypse? Well, then we should be worried. Does the United States Pentagon and White House have plans for an apocalypse scenario among the various situations they prepare for? Zombies? This is no joke, so run for your lives. Before I go, let me greet some subscribers. First of all, a big greeting to Reno Gamer, who wanted a little greeting. Then another big greeting to GM, who I couldn't greet in the previous video. I also send a big greeting to Soy Rachi and Luis Javier, as requested by Aurora. And I send another big greeting to Ever Perex, who had never been greeted before. Another super greeting for Keimer Albernia, who I also hadn't been able to greet in the previous videos. A greeting for Jared, who is a fan of the channel and wanted a little greeting. Finally, I'm greeting Gay Gamer 555, a new channel member. Another super greeting for Freno07, and the last greeting goes to the crack of Gerald Vargas Figueiredo. Please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to share everything about the channel. More kisses to Mr. Curiosity. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new videos. I'm Mr. Curiosity.